At the corner of Front and Castle, I spotted the Albatross Cafe. Albatross. Where have I heard that before? Half on land and half teetering on a set of spindly stilts, ringing the high water mark with ragged lumps of barnacles. I parked down the street, and I started back when the door swung open and the lantern-jawed moose lumbered out. I watched him cross the street without seeing me and disappear between two buildings. I waited a couple of minutes and then I went inside, took a booth near the front. The place was neat and clean, even the tablecloths. A soft brown-eyed blonde in a crisp peasant dress picked up a menu and came over.
Good evening, sir.
Chris? Your name Chris?
Yes.
Chris, it's probably not on the menu around here, but how about a double order of plain facts, straight up?
What are you talking about?
Johnny, you remember, Johnny Wilbur. Your husband?
Who are you, mister?
Private detective named Ballingam. All I want to do is talk to him. All I want to do is talk to him, Chris. Just talk. Is he here?
No, I haven't seen him. He hasn't even called me.
How do you feel about this bird known as Moose?
He's a louse.
Oh, and why is that?
He always crowded Johnny, and now he's got his job.
I hear he knows something. Have you seen him lately?
No, I haven't.
That's funny. He just left here.
Okay, so I'm a liar.
Or maybe you're just blind. I've heard that love does that, baby.
Perhaps. Is it any skin off your nose?
Not really. Of course, I don't have a nose like the moose. That looks like a gray dripping wax candle. You got a butt?
Right here.
How about a match for me, huh?
I suppose so. Let's see. Yes. Here.
Thanks. Hey, these are cute. That crimped border around the edge, especially the one put there by somebody's jittery thumbnail, huh?
Listen, I...
Maybe your eyes are bad, sweetheart. Maybe not. But Chris, you better do something about your nerves. They're shot. Good night, baby.
Oh, the object of my affection can change my complexion from white to rosy red. Anytime she holds my hand and tells me that she's mine.
Wait till I get inside the tub, Mulata, and then come on in.
Yes, Mr. Ballingham.
Wait till I get covered with the bubbles, Mulata. All right, come on in.
Do you really think I should be in the bathroom with you, Mr. Ballingham?
Hey, why not? I'm covered with bubbles. So anyway, you got your steno pad?
Yes, Mr. Ballingham.
All right, then. Leave us continue. It was,
Hey, Mr. Ballingham, Mulata, what are you guys doing in here together? You shouldn't be in the bathroom together.
It's all right, Pinky. Mr. Ballingham's covered with bubbles.
That's right, I'm covered with bubbles. What are you doing in here?
Well, I came to see what you guys were doing in here.
Sure locked that door. I was continuing the story. As I was about to say, the Albatross Cafe. Albatross. Now, where have I heard that before?
Gosh, Mr. Ballingham, you've got an albatross fetish.
No, I ate the mock turtle soup with oyster crackers. It's something they should have called potatoes all rotten.
Oh, I'm putting all my eggs in one big basket. My baby, won't you please come through? Yeah.
didn't look back, but I knew that she was watching me all the way out the door and down the street. So I made it real good, as far as the next block and around the corner. Then I doubled back fast and stayed in the shadows until I got within sight of the albatross again. Albatross. Now, where have I heard that before? And in the meantime, to see a man ease out of a side door and slip out of sight among the pilings under the building. I moved in closer and found a rickety trail of greasy planks that led out through the forest of slimy pilings under the piers. It felt better than a tightrope, but it was home ground to Johnny Wilbur. I felt my way slowly along the slippery planks. Then, from behind a piling, an arm-like steel spring snapped under my chin, while a hand pressed the point of a long, thin knife with a curved white handle up against my throat.
You said you wanted to talk to me, Ballingham? So talk.
Why, if it isn't Johnny Wilbur. Graduated from Pool Q Chalk to Pine Tar.
I said talk. Talk, but fast, see? Because I don't have much time.
Ease up on my throat, will ya?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got carried away. There.
You're a sucker. Why don't you give up trying to even the score? Get out of town and forget about it.
Sure. Sure, to you, that's easy. You didn't spend 3 long years in the cooler for something you didn't do. I'm gonna get even, see? Oh, I'm gonna get even, all right. I don't even know how I'm gonna do it for sure yet, but I'm gonna get even, see?
You wind up right back in the coop. Sucker. For keeps this time. But it's gonna be worth it.
Could be. But I've been a good boy up there. Every time I wanted to slug a guard, I said to myself, Michelangelo Caruso. Instead. Now I've got it all bottled up inside of me. I'm not going to carry all that hate around forever. I'm going to get rid of it. And there's only one way. There's only one way to do it.
Giles Edwards was right. You've got rawhide for brains. Better put that knife away, Johnny. I think we got visitors.
Sure we have, Ballingham. Rats. Big ones. The piers are full of them.
You should feel right at home, punk.
Just don't sleep too long, pal.
Between the throbbing in my head and the numbness across my shoulders where my back struck the planks, it took me 5 minutes to get to my feet, and another 5 to climb up the street level. By then, the pier was deserted, so I headed for Caruso's dock on the double, with the unpleasant answer to my client's question, plus the added attraction that I'd even seen the knife Johnny Wilbur intended to use. I still had a block to go when I saw a hulk that had to be Moose's stride off the pier and turn in my direction. When he got close enough, I hailed him.
Yeah, I'm Moose. What do you want, bud?
Is Michelangelo still in his office?
Who wants to know?
Come on, this is no time to stall, Heavy. I'm Ballingham. I'm working for him, and I got a message it won't keep. Is he there or no?
Nah. The office is locked up. He's gone. I'm looking for him myself.
Why? Why do you want him for?
Because I'm pretty sure that Johnny Wilbur is holed up in the back room of the Albatross Cafe.
Albatross. Now, where have I heard that before? Well, I only wish you were right, Moose. But you're about half an hour too late.
Hey, what was that? Coming from up the street there.
Yeah, let's go, Moose. Maybe we're both too late. Let's find out.
Yeah. Hey!
What?
The dame by the guardrail! It's Ginger! A pal of Michelangelo Caruso's!
Turmeric. Yeah, you're right. What's the matter? What happened?
Down there. Take a look, will you? I'm too scared. In the water.
Ballingham! Hey, Ballingham, come here, look!
Holy cucumbers.
That's Mike down there, with a knife in his back.
Yeah, a long, thin knife with a curved white handle. Belongs to a guy named Johnny Wilbur. Lying with his face muzzled into the sand and the rest of him half submerged in the shallow lapping water, Michelangelo Caruso was violent death at its ugliest. I told Moose to go get the police and headed for the Albatross. Now, where have I heard that before? Where I figured I might get a lead on Michelangelo Caruso's murderer. When I got there, I skipped the formality of the front door and quietly moved around to the back, where I entered without knocking and made my way along a narrow, dusky corridor as far as a half-open door labeled private, where I met Christine Wilbur talking on the telephone. When she looked up and gasped at the sight of me and then slammed the phone down abruptly, I was willing to bet that the party on the other end had been her husband, Johnny. Nobody else.
What do you want?
Most of all, one Johnny Wilbur in handcuffs. Don't bother with the my man pitch, honey, because at the moment the lyrics'll make me sick. I just left a corpse. That used to be Michelangelo Caruso.
Caruso? Dead, Ballingham?
Yeah, and all because of Johnny's knife. It's sticking in his back right now, Chris.
No, Ballingham. Johnny wouldn't do a thing like that. He couldn't.
You're wrong, Chris. He did. Now, where is he?
I don't know.
You're lying, baby. You were just talking to him on the telephone. You gotta know.
No, I don't. He didn't say where he was or
what?
Or anything about Caruso being dead, so don't move, Ballingham.
Well, husband with a knife, wife with a gun. Charming couple.
Never mind that. I'm not going to see Johnny in trouble again for something he didn't do. So get in that closet, Ballingham, where you'll be out of the way. Now.
All right, sweetheart. In it is. But first, baby, a word of advice. He isn't worth it. Believe me.
I don't. So get in and keep your mouth shut.
The closet in Chris's office, which doubled as a storeroom for the restaurant, had no window and a 3-inch thick oak for a door. So I was 20 minutes as a one-man mob scene, bouncing the inventory around before I was heard, and a little man with a big meat cleaver who belonged in the kitchen opened up and demanded to know what I was doing in there. I heaved a number 10 tomato juice can at him for an answer, started running, and didn't stop until I was outside in my car and pointed for Giles Edwards' cottage, the only other place I knew where Johnny Wilbur might go for help. When I came to a stop at the house, I found Edwards himself standing on the outside steps, looking puzzled at a pair of taillights that were blinking out of sight. I knew I was too late. It was Christine, and all upset about getting her hands on $500. Said I had to lend it to her for Johnny's sake. She say why? No, only that she needed help. Murderers usually do. Your boy, Wilbur, just killed Caruso. Edwards, a knife in his back. Johnny killed Michelangelo? About an hour ago, over on the beach. Tell me, did you give her the money? No. She ran out of the house before I even had a chance to get to my safe. Without saying anything? Without saying a word, Ballingham. I wouldn't even know where she had gone yet if I hadn't heard. Heard what, Edwards?
The desk drawer in the living room. Come on, Ballingham, quickly.
I heard the drawer open when I was inside near my safe. I wondered what she was looking for. And when I called to her...
You got no answer. You ran outside after her. Is that it?
Yeah, and I... Hey, Ballingham, they're gone. The boat keys. She must have taken them for Johnny. Asking for the money was only a trick to get me out of the room.
Wait a minute. What boat keys? What boat keys are you talking about, Edwards?
The master set, Ballingham. The 2 keys on a large brass ring. They fit the ignition lock on any boat at the Caruso docks. She knew I had them.
Yeah, but she also knew that even as a friend of Johnny's, you'd balk at handing them over to her if you knew he'd killed Caruso, right? Or are you still shielding old friends, Edwards? Which is it?
Don't be stupid, Ballingham. I draw the line someplace.
All right. And now, one more question. Do you have a gun?
A gun? Oh, yeah, I do.
Good. Then get it, because we're going to the Caruso docks, Edwards. Come on.
We both piled into my formerly powder blue DeSoto, and in something less than 10 minutes ripped through the wide empty streets to the Caruso docks, which were 2 parallel piers set about 100 feet apart and jutting out deep into the bay, where more than a score of boats moored to the inward side of each. But when we were out of the car and saw nothing of Johnny Wilbur or the girl, and heard no sound other than the dull thump of wood on wood and the rhythmic slap of greasy water against the hulls, I decided that we should split up, and I told Edwards to search one pier carefully while I took off for the other. But a minute later, just as I started out alone over the oil-soaked planking, I remembered the panoramic view of the docks I'd gotten earlier that evening from Caruso's office. So I stopped and turned and ran for the flight of wooden steps that led to it. I was halfway up them when I stopped again. There was somebody ahead of me, and with a key, opening the office door. I crouched low and moved closer, one slow step at a time, toward what I knew might be Johnny Wilbur. But in the next second, the light clicked on in the office, and I forgot all about being subtle and leveled the .38 in my hand at the belt buckle of the sharply silhouetted figure. It was Moose.
I wouldn't move if I were you, Buster.
What? Well, who is it?
Ballingham, Moose. Who were you expecting?
Nobody funny, man. But I wouldn't want to be Johnny Wilbur at the moment. He might want to settle old scores. You know, Ballingham, the price for 2 murders is the same as the price for 1.
So I've heard. But now, lest us stray from the subject at hand, Moose, do you mind telling me what you're doing here? And don't say that I'm getting too personal, or I will. Now, come on, talk up like a big boy.
All right, I'm here because I don't like cops. And right now, they're down on the beach swarming around Caruso's body like kids around a maypole. Also, I figured that before he blew, Wilbur might come up here after the money that he knew Caruso always kept on hand. Satisfied?
In a word, no.
Why not?
Because I buy the switch first. You're here, Moose, to steal that dough and let people think that Wilbur took it on his way out.
You can't prove that, Ballingham.
Well, only because I haven't got time. You see, Moose, it's an odds-on bet that Wilbur's out on one of those boats right now, just waiting for Moose, what time is it?
Huh?
The time, quick, what is it?
It's about 11:35. Why? What's that got to do with Wilbur shoving off?
From where I stand, everything. Now look, Moose, get back down to those cops and get them up here and...
Hey, Ballingham, look! Over there at the end of the starboard pier. It's Wilbur.
Yeah, and trying to get away. Go on, Moose.
Get to the cops fast.
Oh, you fool, Ballingham. It's me, Edwards. Wilbur is out there.
I know. The man who murdered Caruso isn't. He's right here, Edwards.
Huh? What do you mean, Ballingham?
That I just found out that you're a liar about seeing Wilbur last night from the deck of Caruso's launch. You couldn't have.
So what?
So you weren't shielding him, Edwards. You were framing him. Framing him so that you could get rid of Caruso and pin his murder on Wilbur, who you'd also get rid of while playing public citizen who's helping a private detective apprehend a killer. Well, what do you say to that, Edwards? Isn't that it?
You're a smart guy, Ballingham. You figured that out all by yourself, huh?
Come clean, Edwards, or I'll blow your head off.
All right. Chris and I framed Wilbur, see?
Chris, what are you giving me?
Honest, Ballingham. We figured that we'd be in the clear with the money we took from Caruso and with Johnny well tucked away in a big, strong prison.
You dirty louse. Keep talking.
So we took advantage of Johnny's loud mouth and, incidentally, of you as well. With Caruso gone, I was going to step into his spot.
You're the one with the loud mouth, Edwards.
Well, Little Red Riding Hood. Come to see the big bad wolf, and to think I went for your lines.
Funny what a sucker a smart guy can be.
He wasn't the only sucker, baby.
Wilbur.
Stay back, Johnny. Shoot if they move an inch. She's got a gun.
Shoot, Chris. Shoot. Come on.
Get away, Johnny. Get away from me.
Shoot him.
You wouldn't shoot me, Chris?
Please, get away from me.
You wouldn't shoot your own husband?
Shoot him. Shoot him.
I'm the man you talked into running away until things quieted down.
Shoot.
The man you'd move heaven and earth to help, just so he could be shot in the back.
Johnny,
Hurry, Chris. Hurry. The police. Shoot.
But you can't shoot me while I'm facing you, can you? You cheap, filthy, double-crossing little...
That's enough. That's enough, Johnny. Cut it out.
Okay, Ballingham. Okay.
It was a long hour of questions and answers before the police were finished, and they'd left with Chris and Edwards in tow. Johnny and I were standing alone out on the end of the pier, where I was looking down at the greasy, shallow black water below and listening to him trying to convince himself that the whole night had been nothing more than a bad dream.
Chris against me. Edwards against me. From the very beginning, Ballingham.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Wilbur.
Edwards because he wanted to be in Caruso's place. My wife because she wanted him.
Yeah, that's right. But when Caruso hired me to see what you had in mind, after that beating he had taken from what he thought was you, but it was really Edwards laying the groundwork, I fell into the role of star witness.
What?
I was somebody reliable enough for them both to play against.
Oh yeah. I get it. So you could testify that at first Edwards had tried to shield me like a good friend.
Yeah, something like that.
And then in the end, he had to kill me when I tried to escape.
Sure, Wilbur, sure. And just to make sure there were no slip-ups, Chris kept feeding you instructions under the heading of wifely advice. Yeah, it practically ran on a timetable.
You're right, Ballingham.
But there was just one slip-up. I found out that Edwards was a liar and trying to frame, not shield you.
Huh? What was that?
Well, look, it was like this. He said that he saw you beat up Caruso in his office at 11:30 last night when he was down on the dock of Caruso's private launch investigating a strange noise.
Yeah, what of it?
Well, Wilbur, he couldn't have. because at 11:30 last night, as well as 11:30 tonight, the tide was low. Of course, the launch with it. And from Caruso's office, you couldn't even see the launch.
Or the other way around. From the launch, you couldn't see the office. Right?
That's it. So in the end, Wilbur, you did have a friend who stuck by you. The sea. The Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. I guess that's as good a place as any for me. Maybe the sooner the better.
Any place in particular?
No, just the sea. I'll drop you a card whenever I make a port, Ballingham.
If you get back to Brooklyn, just give me a whistle. You know how to whistle, don't you?
Sure. I just put my lips together and blow.
And speaking of blow, it's time for you to go, Johnny Wilbur.
You know, Ballingham, I really had two friends. I won't forget about you. So long, friend.
I watched him walk away until he'd gone the length of the empty pier and was swallowed up in the emptier night. Then I turned back to the shallow, black, greasy water beneath me, where the ocean and the land were close to meeting. It was coated thick with oil and dirty. They say it's good for the fish. I don't know about that. The water was almost stagnant, and I thought a lot about that Johnny Wilbur. People like Chris and Giles Edwards that he'd mixed up with and trusted. I felt sorry for him. But then as I looked up for a while, away from the water at the pier, and out towards the open sea, where it was deeper and a lot cleaner, and the further I looked, the cleaner it seemed to be. Then I remembered. That was where Johnny Wilbur was heading. And I felt better. The lapping of the water near the docks started to make me seasick. Just standing there. In fact, I'm getting seasick in this tub, Mulata. Get me a towel.
Yes, Mr. Ballingham. Here you go, Mr. Ballingham.
Pinky, are you still in here?
Well, I wanted to hear how the story turned out.
I think I need a vacation. Why don't we all go down to Mexico? There's a little hotel down in... I remember it well. You come with me, Murata. You too, Pinky. We'll have a nice relaxing time and get away from the crime and the grime of New York City. Excuse me, I'm going under the water. I'll take that towel now, Pinky.
My fur coat's so low, Lord, ain't it cold? But I'm not gonna holler, 'cause I still got $1. And when I get low, oh, I get high. My man walked out, now you know that ain't right. Well, he'd better watch out if I meet him tonight. I said when I get low, oh, I get high. All this hard luck in this town has found me. Nobody knows how trouble goes round and round me. Oh, I'm all alone with no one to pet me. But old rocking chair ain't never gonna get me. 'Cause when I get low, oh, I get high.
Chapter 5 of Brute Ballingham Private Detective, The Excruciating Hello, The Greasy Tide. Tune in next time for Chapter 6. Can't get enough Joe Bev? Just go to Amazon.com and search